Hi, it's Cheryl. Welcome to Homeridge Studio. Do you have a lot of craft items in your stash? I certainly do. So I am taking my Valentine's Day stash and some of my spring items and turning them into beautiful spring decor. This video is part of a collaboration, which I will tell you about shortly, but first, let's just go make something. So I have 3 things to share with you, and this is number 1. These are the pieces I'm using. I got this rice paper. It's called New Year's Key. It's by the Painted Photographer in my Sonnet's Makers box. And I will have that link below. You can go check it out if you want. I have a doily from the Dollar Tree. It comes with a bunch of them in a pack. I have some leftover ribbon from Temu. I have that little flower. I have a couple of these boards that I've had forever and a day. I have one of my 250 pieces of beaded garland from the Dollar Tree. No, probably not 250, but probably 50. And then I also got this fusion paint. It's a mineral paint, and it's called Elmwood, and that was in my Sonnet's Makers box. So I removed the hanger, and I gave that board 1 coat of the fusion mineral paint. I let that dry, and now I have a dry brush. I like to use these. They're cheap. I think I probably got this from the Dollar Tree or something, or it's an old brush. I like to use these when I'm distressing bigger pieces, and usually I have a heavy hand, but this is a very, very, very light coat. I just want to give it a little bit of interest and make it look a little bit more worn. And I did offload most of the paint onto a piece of paper towel. And now I have this glue stick, and I'm putting it all over the doily. I have Mod Podge doilies before, and they just, I don't know, they're all wrinkly probably because they're so thin, but I actually have never done the iron method, I don't believe, with the doily. So what I'm getting at is, don't do the glue stick, because when it dries, yes, it dries clear, but you can see the glue through the doily. Or maybe you can do it around the edge and not in the middle. But it, like I said, it does dry, but it's not perfect. So I'm smushing out all the extra glue. I couldn't find my brayer. I'm just kind of using my hands and that wax paper. And then I just have a little tissue here, and I'm just wiping the extra glue off. And now I have this DIY liquid patina, and this is a sealer and a decoupage medium, and it's wonderful. I absolutely love this. I believe I got this from Sammy from Unicorn Dust Design, and this is the best stuff. What do they say? The best stuff since sliced bread. Better than Mod Podge, but I will use both of them, but this is just like, oh, it's so smooth. It's like butter. Anyway, I took this New Year's Key rice paper, and I'm just trimming it down. I'm trying to figure out how much of the paper I want on here and how I'm going to put it on here. And now I'm taking my water pen, and I'm just going around the edges so I can tear it. Now, rice paper is a little thicker than regular paper. It's not as easy to tear when you get it wet, but you do have more control over it, so those little accidents don't happen. So this is probably maybe my first or second time using rice paper. This is just gorgeous. I just really love it. And like I said, this was in my Sonnet's Maker box. Go check it out. They're not cheap. You get one every month. It's like a little Christmas present, for myself. And so far I've been really happy with it. So now I just take the liquid patina, and I have a starter strip. And yes, I'm mixing these 2 glues, so you'll see what happens. I did it on purpose because I was curious. So the starter strip, and then you put the paper down, and then you put the liquid patina on top. And I always use these fan brushes for this, whether it's Mod Podge or liquid patina. These fan brushes are amazing. And then you just go over the top. And then I pick the paper up, and I put another strip down, probably about 1 inch. And yeah, and then I continue all the way down. And see how that all buckled? The rice paper didn't. It was just the mixing of the glue on top of the doily. But just before it was dry, just still a little damp, I was able to push all of the wrinkles out. Believe it or not, usually you can't, and I was able to do that. But I did put a little bit more liquid patina on that, and it worked like a charm. So now I'm just putting the lace around the bottom, and then this little flower, I'm just going to pop it up on top there. And now I'm going to make a hanger, and I'm taking a bunch of beads off because I want to see part of the jute. Just makes it look more rustic, I think. And I want to see some beads and some jute also on this piece. And as you can see, I'm just hot gluing it on the back. And now I'm going to take the other board and I'm going to glue it on top of that just to hold the hanger in. And because I have a ton of these boards, I just really do. I got a little, I don't know, crazy in buying. I have every single shape and size and design of board that you can imagine. So I'm using up what I have. And also I will probably put this piece in a boutique. I think I'm going to start not me personally, going to be in somebody else's boutique. And I wanted this piece to be like really hardy, not just like the one sheet of MDF board. And so, and then the top, the two holes were up there, and when I went to take a picture of it, I'm like, oh geez, oh yeah, see, you can see the glue through that a little bit. Only up close though, but see, I was able to push the wrinkles out too, so I was all happy about that. Anyway, so when I went to take a picture, I'm like, oh, the two holes, the hanger holes are up there. So I just took 2 half beads and I left them the natural color, which is the color of the hanger, and I just threw some Type Bond glue up there and called it a day. And I love how this piece turned out. And number 2, I've had these pieces in my stash. This I painted a couple years ago. It's all scratched up and the sticker remains are still on there with the glue or goo gone. I had this pink piece from the Dollar Tree. I painted that a year or 2 ago. So yeah, I'm going to use all this. So I have Waverly chalk paint and sandstone, and I have this little what do you call it, the little bow that I pulled off of a cross from the Dollar Tree. I have some picks and some ribbon, and the apple barrel paint is called Barn Red. It's acrylic paint, and that's the paint that's on the first heart, the flat heart. So this piece is in really rough shape, so sometimes it's better just to go with it. So I decided I'm going to get my little lid. I save all my lids. These are great because you can use them for paint. And then when you don't want them anymore, just throw them out, or you can wash them depending on what you like to do. So I put some of the sandstone paint on here, and I threw some salt in here, and I threw some baking soda in here for texture. And we're going to make this look like concrete. So I did another coat on top of here and just put more texture on there since there were imperfections everywhere. And then I blow dried it really, really well. So I had a pretty thick coat on there, and that styrofoam really kind of sucks the paint in, and I had to blow dry it because it'll take a long time to dry just because it's foam. Now I have elephant chalk paint, which is a dark gray, and I'm just dabbing it all over here. Now I don't want any dabber marks or pouncer marks on it, so if there's like a little pouncer mark, I kind of smear it in a little bit, but I'm doing this just so lightly everywhere, just to give it that stone appearance. And now I have chalk paint in the color Plaster, and I'm just going to dab a little teeny bit of this on, even less than the elephant color. So this collaboration is called Saturday Stash Crafting, which is on the second Saturday of every month at 6 a.m. And I am so glad for Stash Crafting collaborations because, well, it forces me to get creative and use what I have, and I have a lot. And I would like to thank the wonderful and talented hosts, Melinda with the Crafty Doll and Donna with the Creole Crafter. The links for their channels are in my description box below, so you can go check out their channels, tell them I sent you, tell them I said hi. Also, the link for the playlist is in my description box, so you can view all of the participants in today's collaboration for tons of ideas and inspiration. Okay, so I decided I was going to give this heart another coat of paint since it was all scratched up. And it's hard with darker colors. It's got to be more perfect. And I used a brush, and you can see the brush lines and everything. And yeah, I still didn't like the way it turned out. And so I get some paint on the back, and I'm just sanding that off. And I'm probably going to have to antique the back because I can't get rid of that splotch that's just pretty much stained from the Goo Gone. And now, so what I'm going to do is try to hide some of those brush strokes, and it did a pretty good job. I just took the sander and then sanded the whole piece down. And then I wiped it off. And now I'm going to take this piece that I think it looks like stone. It turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. And I am just going to smear this Titebond Quick and Thick glue all over it. The reason I'm smearing it with my finger is because I don't want any glue seeping out. And if it seeps out, obviously, just take a damp cloth and you can, wipe the glue away, but I just didn't even want to do that. So I smeared it with my finger. I still have the glue on my finger, see? And then I put a little bit of hot glue on there too. And now I'm going to put this little remnant of the lace ribbon. I think it was from Temu. I got a card of it a couple years ago, and I use it a lot. I love it. I'm running low on it now, though, but that's okay. I have a lot of ribbon, a lot of lace, and you can get something very similar like this from the Dollar Tree. And so I'm just gluing this on the back. Now I have a little bit of foam, and I'm just going to put it in there on the bottom of that heart. And I have these picks. I believe they're from Michael's. I think I got them last year. They were $7.99 for a big bunch, but I know I got them on sale because I don't usually buy their flowers at full price. Almost never. I'm a big coupon person. And I'm just cutting this pick apart. This is a really good filler pick. In my previous video, I used this in a flower arrangement, and I just really loved how it turned out. And I had, a few pieces left, so I'm using it on this one. I'm either poking them into the little styrofoam here, or I'm gluing it on top because some of them, the bottom doesn't have a wire in it, so I can't poke it in. And now to hide the bottom, I have just a little teeny piece of this Spanish moss, and I'm just going to pop in there just to hide all the stems in the bottom. And then I'm trimming this ribbon up, and I think I told you I pulled it off of a Dollar Tree cross because I Mod Podged a flower on the cross, and that's in my previous video. But I loved that little bow, so I kept it, and I just glued that on there. And then I realized, the top of the heart has the holes in it from the original hanger. So I got 2 half beads, and I painted on the same color as the heart, that barn red color. And then I just put some Titebond glue and hot glue on there, and then popped them on there. And yeah, I think this piece turned out pretty good. Originally, this is not what I was going to do when I painted both of those pieces. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I pulled them out of my stash and I'm like, I just have to do something with these. And I put them together and I'm like, oh, and then the ideas all came flowing. So I'm happy with the way it turned out. Okay, and this is the last one, number 3. I thrifted this wood piece. I think it was like 99 cents. It has a little like split in it, but no big deal. You can't even really see it. If it were really bad, I could have put in, I guess, wood glue filler, but it was fine. I have these rub-on transfers, and they are from Amazon. You get 6 to a pack, and they're roughly $10. I'll leave the link below. And I have ballet slipper chalk paint. So I gave this whole piece one coat of the chalk paint, and I let it dry. And now I'm putting a coat of Mod Podge on top of this. And you could use liquid patina too. And I'm going to let this dry. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to put a transfer on that. And I have, just last year, I did a couple projects where the transfers would not stick. And I couldn't figure out why. And somebody told me it is because you have to seal it. If you paint on something, you have to seal it, or it won't. Some of it will stick and some of it won't. So anyway, I did that, and then some of the edges were rough, and also the back had paint on it, so I sanded that off really well. And then I wiped it down, and I took my little handheld vacuum and cleaned it up really good, because you don't want any of those little particles when you're doing rub-on transfers. You want it to make sure that your piece is really clean, because it will put, you'll have like little bubbles underneath the transfer. And so I am just putting this on and smoothing it down with my hands, and now I have a craft stick. And I'm just scratching it on here as I peel off this backing. I'm just making sure that it's all stuck down, and then I took the paper from that and I just smoothed it down. And now I didn't do it here, but you're going to want to give it a coat, some kind of a sealer like Mod Podge or liquid patina or something like that. So I have the hazelnut and Waverly chalk paint, and I have the antique wax. And I saw this paper. It's actually a Roycycle paper, and I love the color of it, and that's what I'm trying to mimic. It looked really pretty. I wish I would have showed you the paper, but it looked really pretty, so this is what I'm mimicking, and I'll show you how. And first, though, I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to all of my beautiful subscribers. I know, I say this all the time, but I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Your amazing comments, likes, and shares is what keeps me going. It's what keeps my channel growing. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And a warm welcome if you're stopping by. If you like thrift flips, Dollar Tree decor, budget-friendly and seasonal decor, and so much more, come join my channel, Homeward Studio. Be part of my family by tapping the subscribe button as well as the bell, so you'll be notified each time I post a video. It's totally free and it helps me out a ton, and I thank you. Okay, so as you can see here, I went around the perimeter of this wood piece with the hazelnut, but it was very watered down, so I used it as a stain, and then I put the antique wax on top of it, and then wiped that all down. I put it on top of the whole piece, and it gave me the perfect pink brown color that I wanted. And then I just popped that butterfly. I put a cube under it, and that's one of those laser cut wood pieces from the Dollar Tree that come in a 3-pack. I just popped that up on top, and I thought this turned out so pretty. It's so beautiful. And here is the whole shebang. Now you will see some pieces in here that are not part of today's video. That's because they were in previous videos, and I always like to share stuff with you so you can see some of the stuff that I do. You can go back and watch. All these pieces are from this year. They're all from January and February so far. But I always like to incorporate these with my new pieces that I made. And that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed my video. If so, please tap the like button and also check out the host channels if you already haven't in the playlist. And you know I'll be back very soon. Until then, have a blessed week. Bye.